This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. I used to be someone who took great delight in the chaos of the Republican Party, of the backbiting and the infighting. And while I'm still amused by it, I don't get the same charge. I'm not revved up like I used to be, not necessarily, literally. And that is because the infighting is now spilled over onto the general population of the United States and is harming us all. They're in charge, they're in power in the House of Representatives, they have the majority, and they can't get shit done. Nothing is getting done. In fact, to the contrary, on the flip side of that, the reverse side of that, there's actually damage being done. But I want to talk about this infighting right now. And this is not infighting between moderates and radicals, or there's no center-left Republicans anymore, but some version of that. It's not the Mitt Romneys and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes. This is Chip Roy and Marjorie Taylor Greene, the former chief of staff of Ted Cruz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene put forward a censure resolution against Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian American in the Congress, and in the face of what is taking place in Israel right now, she chooses to put forward a censure resolution against one of the only two Muslims in the Congress and the only Palestinian. It failed. It was voted to table it, which means it just goes away. And Chip Roy, who voted against the resolution, he had this to say on Twitter. Representative Rashida Tlaib has repeatedly made outrageous remarks toward Israel and the Jewish people. Her conduct is unbecoming a member of Congress and certainly worthy of condemnation, if not censure. However, tonight's feckless resolution to censure Tlaib was deeply flawed and made legally and factually unverified claims, including the claim of leading an insurrection. I voted to table the resolution. In January 2021, the legal term insurrection was stretched and abused by many following the events at the Capitol. What events might those be, Chip Roy? You mean the events of the insurrection at the United States Capitol, dipshit? We should not continue to perpetrate claims of insurrection, quote unquote, at the Capitol, and we should not abuse the term now. Rep. Roy. Most of that is wrong. Some of this is correct. Certainly feckless. Anything brought by Marjorie Taylor Greene is feckless and just a brazen attempt at publicity, and this was nothing different. But Rashida Tlaib is not a hateful person. Rashida Tlaib certainly has some passionate opinions about those who share her ethnicity, and the mistreatment of those people by the state of Israel, not by the Jews, but by the state of Israel, by the military of Israel, a military which is, led the leader of the country, Benjamin Netanyahu, a corrupt, criminal, thug, wannabe autocrat. He's a Trump type figure. Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene retweeted this tweet thread because now they're at each other's throats. And she said this: "You voted," speaking to Chip Roy, "you voted to kick me out of the Freedom Caucus, but keep CNN wannabe Ken Buck and vaping, groping Lauren Boebert. And you voted with the Democrats to protect terrorist Tlaib. You hate Trump." Certified Biden's election and could care less about J6 defendants being persecuted. Don't you mean couldn't care less? Because if he could care less, then there's an amount more that he could care less. But it's English, it's difficult. I know it's your native tongue, Marjorie. I know that it's the tongue the only language you speak, much like myself. But you don't have any intellectual curiosity to want to master that language. You could care less. I could care less. Oh, you could? You could care less, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now I'm off on a rant. Look, this infighting is, it's partially good because the less they get done means the less damage they're doing as Republicans, knowing what they stand for, knowing what their ostensible policy prescriptions are for America. But it's bad for the fact that the infighting has led to gridlock. Nothing's getting done that could be good relative to funding Ukraine, helping them fight back against the invasion and the genocide at the hands of Vladimir Putin and Russia. There's all kinds of things that could be done. The ticking clock of the continuing resolution that's getting ready to end, they could be dealing with this. But instead, it's a bunch of nonsense like this. Censure resolutions for members of Congress who have done nothing at all in any stretch, in any semblance of any shadow of imagination that would rise to the level of censure. It's just what it is. And because her publicity stunt did not go the way that she wanted it to, she's now freaking out, not on Democrats, but on her own radical members. Chip Roy is a leader in the Freedom Caucus, which is like Tea Party 2.0. So I'm conflicted. I am happy at the chaos. I am pleased at the infighting, but it is starting to spill out and harm the rest of us, and that is not good. Especially the closer we get to the end of the continuing resolution to fund the government, and we are staring down the proverbial barrel of a gun of not funding our government, which means our military and marginalized communities, people on Medicaid and Medicare. It's a problem. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail. If commenting is not your thing, this is a way you can do it. I would prefer comments because they help to trigger YouTube to share this channel and the content here with others, new viewers. But if you want to leave a voicemail, you can. 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. Please keep the voicemails brief. Don't leave me a series of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 3-minute voicemails. That is nothing but a hassle, and I'm not going to listen to all of them. If I see the same number, I'm going to not listen to the rest of them. So do yourself a favor, save your breath, but you can write an email as long as you want. Follow me on social media. I'm on at Dollemore on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of them. Anywhere that you are, I am likely there at Dollemore. And if you appreciate what I do and you want to help support and produce this content right here, click the join button below, become a channel member for $2 a month. There's a better way that if you want to switch your support, YouTube's probably not going to be happy about this, but if you want to become a patron, we're getting ready to send out our end of the year Patreon gifts. All you got to do is become a patron by the end of the year. Patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast doesn't just support the podcast, absolutely is a funding mechanism for this show, Brittany Page's show, and of course, the podcast that we both host. I'll see you next time. I appreciate you very much. Be genuine. Take care of one another.